what's up, everybody? I'm J.S. Garrett, and I'm here with the lovely Scarlett, and we're going to be talking about the Rite of Deification. How you doing, Scarlett?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, good. I want to thank you for coming on with me and giving me the opportunity to do this. It's really difficult to find people who are willing to put their face out there in association with black magic. So, I mean, I do have a lot of deification clients, and I get a lot of feedback from them, but I don't get public feedback. And so if you're someone who is very well known in the occult and very well respected as a magician, so I thought you'd be the perfect person to interview and do this ritual for, and then do a follow-up interview afterwards to see what you thought about it and talk about your experiences. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And you're right. It really is hard to endorse other people because you put your name on there, and then that kind of carries through with all the actions that they may do or the work or whatever, So it's not often that I endorse somebody, but I am very confident with you and Barbie, and I know that this ritual will be very helpful, and I know it's going to be very potent and powerful. So that is why I'm willing to come out and really give you the down and dirty about what happens before, after, and possibly even a follow-up.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, that's great, and that's all I'm looking for here is brutal honesty. Okay, I want to know exactly what you experienced and whether or not you think this did what it's supposed to do. So essentially, what I do is get on face to face with each client, and I talk to them about why they booked the ritual or why they think this will help them. It allows them to ask any questions that they might have. It allows me to get some personal information from them and make that energetic connection in order to summon them, because that's really an intimate thing if you think about it. I'm attempting to pull a person's spirit out of their body and into my ritual space. And it really helps to get to know them face to face before I attempt that. Otherwise, you could, if you didn't know what someone looked like, all you knew was their name, then you could end up with anybody else by that same name. So yeah. So what I do with this ritual is I print out a photograph of you. I write your name and birthday on the back of it, and I also write statements of intention. I usually will ask people, what are three areas what are the main three areas that you're trying to improve about yourself? Because I can somewhat custom tailor this. When I have a person's spirit in front of me, I can petition them just like I would petition any other spirit. Utilize this energy to heal your physical body, or to help you recover from something, or enhance your magic and psychic abilities, things like that. So I guess what are a couple of things that you would like me to focus on with this?
Well, the main intention that I have when you brought this up to me was definitely healing from trauma. Right now, I'm doing a lot of work on myself in therapy sessions, and trying to really work through some of my childhood trauma. And this is not something that I really worked on before, because it's only really kind of a new revelation to me in the past 5 years or so that there was indeed some trauma before the age of 12, all during growing up. So this is what I'm working on right now. And I'm working on that to make myself emotionally and intellectually available for my psychological clients that I will have in the future. As you know, I'm in school for a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. And so, trauma really affected every aspect of my life growing up, and it still does. So this is something that needs to be cleared away and dealt with before I can really progress professionally. And I think it's also going to enhance personal relationships, understanding patients, and really all aspects. The other aspect of it as well is I would love to have more power. I mean, who doesn't want more power that's working within the left-hand path, the right-hand path? You always want to better yourself. You always want to enhance your own abilities. So I'm also looking forward to that aspect of the ritual. And I do believe that my own power will come more into its potential as my childhood trauma is finding its resolution. So I guess it's all very internal for this working. It's nothing really bringing me externally. I'm already doing a long path working with the 4 kings that we represent in 4 thrones. which has taken the form of me going through school. And I was actually kind of hesitant at first, because when you mentioned that you were going to do this, so I do my own preparatory work with Shamyaza and your Master Key Sigil. And I actually had a conflict just about a couple of days ago where I was thinking maybe I shouldn't do this ritual because what if it interferes too much with the path working that I already have? But then I thought about it and I said, JS doesn't offer this to many people, and perhaps it's actually the opposite in that they are presenting this to me because it will help in aspects of my life that they're not particularly working on right now. So it kind of all evolved into each other, into this mass working. So I'm very excited, a little bit nervous, maybe even a tiny bit scared to see exactly what's going to transpire over the next 6 months of my life.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. And yeah, congratulations on going to school and everything that you're working on accomplishing. And I'd say that's very mature and an intelligent way for you to approach this, to work with Shamyaza leading up to that. That is who channeled me this ritual initially. And I always I began the ritual by evoking him to help facilitate it, as well as give me the strength that I need to do it properly and correctly. Yeah. So I do think that it will help you. Most of the people that want this done are practitioners. They're other magicians, and what essentially to break it down as simply as I can here. I'm giving you a massive energy transfer. You are absorbing all of the energy and life force from the sacrifice that I'm making to you as an act of worship, essentially. The same as you would, worship or sacrifice to a god or a goddess. And that's why I call it the Rite of Deification, because I really feel like gods and goddesses are, empowered and sometimes created through these acts of worship and sacrifice. So, one of the things that the magicians who practice magic will report back to me is that they have a whole other well of energy to pull from to put into their magic. And that's something I've noticed myself. When I first started practicing these types of rituals, it would take me about a week to recover from each one. I would just be so exhausted afterwards. And there's no way that I could do the amount of them that I'm doing now if I didn't do this ritual for myself on a regular basis. And as soon as I started doing that for myself, I noticed that it didn't tire me out. And not only that, but I could do them back to back and more than one in a single night. So, I do think it will help. And I just, whenever we do the follow-up interview, I just want you to be totally honest about what you experience. And that's really all I'm looking for here.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. It's nice to hear that you've got that spiritual endurance.
Yeah. I would have to in order to do the amount of work that I do, like I was saying. And that's it has also healed my physical pain. Like I had some injuries from my time in the military. Mm-hmm. And I lived in constant chronic pain. I was on painkillers and had steroid injections and everything else. And that was the first thing that I noticed physically, other than having more energy, is that it alleviated the pain that I was experiencing on a daily basis. So it's like it gave my body the energy that it needed to heal itself.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that would be interesting because, as you know, I'm diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So it will be interesting to see if it takes any physical manifestations as well within myself.
Oh yeah. You'll definitely have to let me know how that goes. And I will say that my wife was also diagnosed with fibromyalgia about, I'm guessing about 12 years ago now. And that is something that she no longer deals with, is that pain and discomfort. And I've done this right for her probably 36 times now. And she's actually starting to look a good bit younger than she did when I met her. So that's really interesting too. I've always wondered how people lived for hundreds of years, back in biblical times, like living for 600 years, supposedly. How did they do that? And maybe we're scratching the surface of what they were onto here. So
that's a whole other conversation that we could get into, because I do a lot of research. And in fact, there's a specific population that is known for living over 100 years. Can't remember it specifically right now, but I remember looking into this one specific island that's known for that. And one of the things that they say that is most important is the social support. And, you know, if you have a good relationship, good social support, then that's one of the keys to living a very long life, is that love and social support. So I
Yeah.
go on about that.
No, that does make a lot of sense to me. And you know, they've interviewed people that lived, you know, past 100. I think they interviewed a woman that was like pushing 120. And she's a smoker, you know, she eats whatever she wants, you know, really cool lady. And they determined after talking to these people that another factor in living a long life is lack of stress.
And a plant-based diet.
Yeah, everybody that they interviewed was real carefree, charismatic, and didn't have a lot of stress in their life. So that's got to be a factor too. But yeah. So I'm actually going to do your ritual tomorrow night, and we'll give it a week or two to let that really set in. And then whenever you're ready, whenever you feel like you're ready to talk about it, then we'll jump back on and do a follow-up interview, as long as you still consent to that. And I'm also going to video your ritual. So we won't put the entire ritual out there because it's very personal, and I don't want to put out any of your personal information or anything like that. But we will put out an edited version after you watch it, if you consent to that being seen, at least clips of highlights. And you know, that's for the purpose of proof, first of all, that I did the ritual as I said that I would, and it also, you know, this is like I said, it's a very intimate type of ritual. I think it's important for my clients to be able to see what happened, see what I said and did, and know that there was nothing that they did not know about that took place there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because doing magic for other people is, like you said, it's very intimate. So it's always very reassuring when you can get that actual video into your hot little hands, so you can view it and see it and really kind of live through the ritual. When you watch the ritual, it's almost like you're subconsciously doing it as well. I would love to coordinate the times to make sure, because I plan on doing my own thing. I know that one of the things that you do is you really don't want anybody doing anything, but in a situation like this, from the practitioner's point of view, for me on my end, I would be engaging myself in my own preparatory ritual that will prepare me physically, spiritually, and mentally for you to take and evoke my higher self.
Okay, yeah, I think that's great. And you know, I normally just tell people to lay down and go to sleep before I do the rite. And you know, that's not everyone is a practitioner on the level that you are. Most people don't do preparatory rites or a ritual in the middle of it. So we will definitely coordinate the times. I know we're in different time zones. And so, I'll let you know exactly when I'm going to get started. And, you know, I'm also curious to know since you'll probably be awake when we begin, what you experience as far as, you know, physically. Because what people will tell me is that whenever I start to evoke them, they get really sleepy. It's like whatever it is that makes you is leaving your body. So
absolutely, it's all about that astral projection. So you're evoking, you're pulling my essence out of me, and you are literally trying to force my spirit to astral project to your spot, so that you have this manifestation, a spiritual manifestation to work with, just like you would do with any other type of, like Paimon or Marbus or Belial. You know, you do that evocation and you work and you communicate with them, and that's what I'm expecting to happen the night of our ritual as well. Awesome.
Well, I'm so excited about this, and I'll have you send me a photograph along with your full name and birthday. We won't put that in the video, and we'll coordinate on the times, and we will get this done. I'm really excited.
Thank you so much for offering to do this for me. I am super, super, super excited, and I am very, very thankful to you and Barbie both for offering this to me and doing this for me, and I am so stoked.
Oh, well, thank you for agreeing to do it. You know, it's an honor and a pleasure to do this right for you. I've followed you and Nate's work for a very long time, and I've always looked up to you guys. So this is a really cool thing for me to get to do this right for you also. So Hell yeah. Let's get it done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We will talk again soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hereby call upon the four demonic gatekeepers, Amemon, Azazel, Abaddon, Belial, to come now and surround this circle, holding space and protection of this sacred operation, so the desired outcome may be achieved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the deification of Scarlett. Perform this rite for the purpose of gifting her with overall enhancement, healing her from past trauma, helping to improve her emotional availability for her clients, improving her mental health and increasing her power, and providing her relief from fibromyalgia and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Mets and death self met. Astarte, goddess of love and war, divine feminine. And now open your sigil to the part of the power and blood essence may be transferred directly to Scarlett to the power. Now offer my blood on behalf of Scarlett, the blood of Shinyaza. I strengthen you. The blood of Shinyaza, I heal you. The blood of Shinyaza, I empower you. The blood of Shinyaza, I awaken. The blood of Shinyaza, I anoint you. Nagat Atu Semat. Legions come forth. Surround this circle. Empower this right. Clear the path. And bring me the spirit of Scarlett. Scarlett, I evoke you. Hear me and answer me. And no one can refuse me. Scarlett, come. Scarlett, come. Scarlett, princess of power, come. Scarlett, sister in darkness, come. Scarlett, who bows before no one, come. The scent of blood and bone, I call you. Hear my words. See my signs. Know that I command the universe to bring you before me. That I may honor you in spirit. That I honor you in the flesh. Scarlett, I call and conjure you forth from your body. Come now. Let go of the flesh. Take your place within the triangle. Come now, let go of the flesh and take your place within the flames. That I may deify you. That I may offer you the sacrifice that will make your flesh immortal. Come now and accept the sacrifice of burning flesh and blood I've prepared to offer you. I give you license to appear. I give you power to manifest. I issue you the call to come. Scarlett, come. Scarlett, come. By the power of Shimyaza, I call you to come. Metz in death, may. Hello, Scarlett. Thank you for answering my call. Your presence is undeniable. As you know, I've summoned you here to offer you a sacrifice of burning flesh and blood. You may take strength and power from that sacrifice, for it will awaken the goddess within you. Scarlett, I now offer you this fine rooster as a sacrifice of burning flesh and blood. Please accept this offering. Thank you. Thank you for your sacrifice. Scarlett Bales, receive this. Absorb the blood and the body. Adam and Eve oil, I activate you on Scarlett's behalf. For the male and female prophecies, feel the trauma that has been inflicted upon you. Astarte, goddess of love and war, may Scarlett receive your blessing. May she be healed, strengthened, and empowered. May the power of this blood essence, the blood of Shimyaza and the blood of this sacrifice, be transferred directly into Scarlett through the power of your sigil. Hail, Astarte. Thank you for answering my call. Thank you for allowing me to perform this rite on your behalf. It's an honor and a pleasure, my sister. You're very welcome.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm back here with the lovely Scarlett Marie Bales, and we've just performed her ritual 3 days ago, and this is the follow-up chat. So we're going to discuss what happened and what our experiences were on both ends. How you doing, Scarlett?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing really good, actually. I'm excited to have this conversation because your rite was very unique and very powerful on my end. So I can't wait to get the juicy details of what you've experienced during and since then.
Yeah, excellent. Me too. Where should we start?
Well, let's. I guess I'll start at the. I guess we'll start at the beginning of the ritual. Now, you did a preliminary ritual on your end to prepare for the ritual that I was getting ready to do on my end, and so while I was setting up, laying out the circle and bringing all my tools out there, you were in the middle of this ritual. And yeah, can we talk a little bit about what that entails? Like, what you?
Absolutely, sure. So my intention, as I do with all work, there's always that, preparatory work that you do is finding out who the spirits are. And actually, the only spirit that I knew that you were going to be evoking was Shimyaza, and I thought that was the only one that you used. I didn't know that you were going to use 4 gatekeepers. I didn't know Astaroth was going to be involved in this. I had no idea any of that. So what's interesting for me is I remember the last time we spoke, I had no details, and I had said to you that I was kind of hesitant at first because of the workings that I've been doing with my 4 kings that we work with in 4 thrones. Now, I don't know if you have any information on that, or if you know who the kings are that we use, if you did this on purpose, but when I watched the video, the gatekeepers that you called in the beginning of the ritual were actually the 4 demonic gatekeepers that we use within 4 thrones, and I was completely blown away, because when I had that hesitancy and then I was communing with them, they said no, and I think I remember us talking about this. No, go ahead and do this, because it's part of the path working that's being encompassed in everything that we're doing right now. So the fact that you were using Azazel and Maimon, Belial, and Abaddon completely just floored me when I saw that. I was like, had to get up. I was like, holy crap. I didn't know. Like, it completely just tied everything into a circle. So that was the first thing. Okay, so as far as the ritual that I did. So at 8:30, knowing that you were going to start your ritual at 12, your time. So my time, it would have been 9 o'clock. At 8:30, I laid out the circle, and I originally was just going to do like the circle and some candles, but then I kept getting like this information on how to do it. So I laid out the circle. I ended up taking the 4 thrones altar and actually putting that on the circle so everything was connected. And I worked with a mirror, a full-length mirror. So I put the mirror on the altar. So everything was kind of within each other. And then at the last minute, it was like, you also need to evoke Jesse. So I had the master key sigil with Shemyaza, and I also had the master key that was specific to you that you had posted somewhere. So that's where my mental link was. So I had both of those sigils on my altar. I went in and did what I had to do to get myself into that working space for the magical working. I then evoked Shemyaza to me, and then I evoked you. So to create that link and to really start that whole procedure. And it was almost like I'm calling you because it's like you're coming to pick me up. Yeah. And so I did that. And then at 9 o'clock, I laid down and I put myself into that theta gamma sync state and really worked on and prepared myself for astral projection. So while I'm doing that, I'm focusing on you. I'm looking at you through the fire. I'm seeing your backyard, or not your backyard, but your space that you have on your property. I know you got a massive amount of property. Then you have a area that you have dedicated to do all these workings. So I saw that, and I saw the fire, and I saw you, and I'm laying there, and I'm feeling, I started feeling this warmth within my core. So it was really weird. So all of a sudden, like just like right up the middle, but in just the core part of my body started getting really, really, really warm. And I was like, you definitely could not deny that it was happening. So it got really warm, and then it got really tingly. And within the core, and it was just like tingling, and it was getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And then all of a sudden, I felt like this pull. First, it was like a pull. So I thought I was actually getting ready to jump out of my body because I felt this pull forward. But then I felt like this pull like sideways, but it wasn't like an internal push like out. It was weird. It was as if somebody was like next to me, like pulling on a rope. Like if I was attached by my, like the seams of my soul, like if you had gathered all those up and you were pulling on that, that's what I felt, my whole body. I mean, it was almost to the point where I wanted to turn over, and it was just pulling and pulling, pulling. It was so weird. And then all of a sudden it just stopped, just like that. And I was like, okay. And I opened my eyes and I was like, did I do something to pull me? So I tried to like put myself back into that space, and I was like absolutely compelled to get up. And this is about 9:30, 9:35. I looked at the time. I was like, wow, that was really fast. I actually thought that you had finished the ritual. I was like, that's really quick. So then I came back into my room, and Nate was like, hey, how'd it go? And I was like, yeah, it was awesome. I really, it was pretty interesting. Oh, and the other thing that happened, oh no, that was the dedication. Okay, so then I came in here, Nate and I, we, had some time together, and then I passed out. I fell asleep. And then like in the middle, I don't want to say in the middle of the night, but it was after I fell asleep, I had woken up and the house was dead silent. So it must have been around 12 or so my time. I don't know, maybe 11:30 or so. It was just after I woke up. I saw you standing next to me. It was so weird because I woke up, I sleep on my side, and I woke up and you were standing right in my face at the top of my bed, and you were doing this. It was like you were rearranging me. It was weird. It was, I mean, and it's clear that there was someone there and they were just doing this. And immediately when I saw it, like I wasn't alarmed because I've had figures wake me up like that before and it freaks me the fuck out, right? So it was there and you were doing the thing and I immediately sensed that it was, oh, that's Jesse doing his mad scientist thing. And I just went back to sleep. And then I woke up the next day and I felt pretty good. I felt pretty good in the morning, but then towards the later part of the day, I started getting really, really tired. I started feeling really exhausted. And then I think Barbie sent me the video and I watched the ritual yesterday. And that's when I was like, holy cow. And then I started seeing all these correlations with what had happened the night before, or, you know, the night of the ritual, and some of the things that I saw in the video.
That is pretty too cool. And no, I had some cool experiences on my end when I was setting up. And you know, I told you a little bit about this off the air. First of all, I had no idea you were going to evoke me too. Like I knew you were evoking Shimyaza, and I'm out there setting up, and I get disoriented. You know, like people will get whenever you start to pull them. And I look at my wife. I was like, I feel like I'm being pulled too right now. Like I'm dizzy and shit. And so, I mean, that was really cool to find that out afterwards. And first of all, I do know that you guys, you know, Four Thrones, I know y'all work with those entities, but that's something I've done since day one. If you watch like the first deification that I put online of me doing this for EA Coedding, like I summoned those same entities as well, and it worked out so good. They you know, I called them to essentially stand around the circle and prevent the rite from being hijacked, to provide protection. And it also, people will notice a very strong connection with the entities that I summon afterwards, you know, for their ritual. So yeah, that's something I've always done. And, you know, you guys, you and Nate and EA are like the ones who inspired me to start working with those entities. And yeah, so that's really cool. And so yeah, you know, I did my preliminary rites, which takes like, you know, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. And that's when your message came through. It was right after I'd finished. I always close that out with invoking Shimyaza. And, you know, my wife saw the message come through and I was like, okay, all right, cool. You know, she needs to go lay back down. So I'm going to take a little break here and just give her a little bit of time to get situated. She'll be laying down when I start to pull her. And so that's cool that you had a lot of energy and then you went back to sleep like that. So, I mean, that time adds up pretty perfect.
Yeah, and it added up, you know, like when you had started evoking Shimyaza, it correlated with the time that I had been compelled to stand up, where for me it stopped, you know, and it's almost like you and Shimyaza were completely pulled out of my temple. And so that, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. The burning and tingling sensation you felt, I'm wondering if that was literally Shimyaza in your core. They're doing the preparatory work that was going to be necessary for this.
It might have been, but it was really interesting. It was warm and it like, it didn't hurt. It wasn't like burning on fire, but it was like this really like warm, like you could just, it was just warmth and tingling. And it was just in the core, like it took up like the whole torso of my body. So it wasn't like a full chakra thing, but that's where I felt it was just in the core. I don't know if anybody else has ever had that experience.
Well, okay, so most people, they will just lay down an hour before I start the ritual and just go to sleep, you know, and I you know, but magicians that I do this for, almost all of them have their own preparatory works that they want to do, and some of them have intentionally stayed awake through the rite or tried to. And they've, like Joseph Nunn did a video about some of the experiences that he had when I was doing that for him. And so yeah, I mean, the people who stay awake, especially magicians who immerse themselves in the rite beforehand, they all report somewhat different experiences, but they're always crazy and intense like that. So that's really cool. And I had no trouble. I think it was probably because of these preparatory rites that you did that it was fairly easy to bring you to me.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, like, it's really difficult, and it's almost like they're weighted down. And you know, that's where the gatekeepers will pretty much help me break whatever chains are binding them and bring them to me. But you showed up fairly quickly. You showed up like a thunderstorm. Before you came in, I noticed, like, you could feel presences coming into the circle, like the energy. It's like waves of energy hitting you every time a different spirit will step in. And I noticed that over and over and over before you arrived. So it's like you showed up with an entire legion of spirits that are, I imagine, are surrounding you at all times and protecting you. They all came with you, and it was so intense. It was awesome. I had a massive rooster, as you guys will see in the video. I'm going to do a highlight reel, video clips. I'm of course going to edit all your personal information out of there because this ride is very personal. But you guys will be able to see what took place during this ritual. And you know, afterwards, I felt really good. I felt like it benefited me as well. And you know, something that you mentioned about having a lot of energy afterwards and then getting really tired. Something that I've figured out through having this done for myself is that a lot of sleep is necessary after you have this done. And it's like Joseph Nunn, he stayed awake the entire night when I did this for him, and he felt exhausted the next day. It wasn't until he got a full night's sleep the second day that he woke up feeling really energized. So that tells me that sleep is necessary in order for this energy to transfer fully into your physical body from your spiritual body. And so, yeah, I'm definitely wanting to talk to you like a few weeks down the road, because this is an ongoing process. I mean, you'll probably be noticing things months from now that you could possibly attribute to this working. So I would definitely say that you probably need to get some more rest. And I think once you do, then you'll really see the full energetic benefits of this. And you may also notice in your rituals, and this is for me personally, I noticed after having this done, it's like I have a whole other tank of energy to pull from and put into my rites, so it doesn't tire me out as bad. And you definitely feel that extra power that you absorb from this being channeled into the work that you do. So,
yeah, well,
really cool.
I know I definitely felt disoriented the next day, even though I got sleep. I was trying to do some schoolwork, and it was like hard for me to formulate sentences, and you know, I had to like really think about what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's not just like where I get into it and I'm like, okay, and then it just kind of flows, you know. And even reading, concentration and stuff like that, it's been a little difficult the past couple of days. I just I feel a little disoriented, and you're probably right, I probably do need some rest.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to try and just take it easy today. But also last night after the rite, I did a dedication ritual last night for all of like a thank you for all the spirits that we worked with, and I also honored the sacrifice, because when I watched the video, you know, I'm a huge animal lover, and I know that at times it's necessary, but it's always very hard for me to perform sacrifice or to watch it, and it was a huge rooster. It sure was. And like I cried and cried for hours. I think yesterday after I watched it, the rest of the day I just was kind of like on this low, because I was sad, of course, you know, but very thankful. So last night what I did is I went back into the temple and I got 5 shots of apple crown whiskey, and put myself in the state, and kind of called forth, had a shot for the 4 gatekeepers, I had a shot for Shemyaza, had a shot for Astarte, and I had a shot for you, and I also had a shot in the center for the rooster, and did this dedication for the rooster and all the spirits as a thank you.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing that happened to me last night when I did that was, after I evoked and created that link, I then like looked in the mirror, and when I looked in the mirror, it was so weird. Like not like my pupils they lit up. It was weird. It was like, you know how when you see a cat in reflection, and it's got like that iridescent. Well, that's like what happened in my eyes in the mirror. So I knew that they had, and the temple was completely dark. I only had like 3 candles. I tried to, because of course, like you're in the state and you don't know, you're like, was that a reflection? Did that happen? Like, can I recreate that? But at the same time, you're just trying to stay like with it. And so that was the only time that it happened. And it's not like I was moving around a whole lot or anything like that. I just was looking into the mirror, and it came and then it subsided. So that to me told me that they acknowledged the dedication that I did. And, so it's a real thing, and it works. And you can't deny these manifestations. Some people will look at it and be like, yeah, whatever, this could be that, or it could be this, it could be that. But, everybody's magic is very personal and it's intimate, and you can take it and leave it. You can either take those omens and say, that's confirmation, or you can take it and say, well, how can I explain this away? But when you have it happen to you, when you have these experiences happen to you and they're undeniable so many times, you just learn to go, okay, that was the sign.
Yeah.
Like the feeling that I had, the pulling that I had, just the things that you see in the mirror, these are the things acknowledging you, and as best as they can within the realms that they are, to say, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And, so it was very real the night that you did it. It was also very real the night that I did the dedication. So very powerful. I'm very interested. I can't wait for a few weeks from now, a few months from now, or whatever, a year from now. And I would love to do a follow-up and just tell you about all the things that have gone on.
No, that would be great. And, I think it's so awesome that you did that dedication to not only the entities, but to the sacrifice as well. And the sacrifice is the most sacred part of the ritual. And I have a chicken pen where I raise these chickens and keep them. And before the ritual, that'll be the last thing that I do is to go and retrieve the sacrifice. And I open the door to the pen and I wait for one of them to come to me. It's like they offer themselves willingly. And if you noticed in the video, the rooster was very calm.
Yes, and I even said that to Nate. I was like, he's so calm. Yeah. I'm going to cry just thinking about it. But he didn't put up a fight. He was so calm. And I saw you like hugging him and thanking him. And he just allowed it. Yeah. It was so touching.
Yeah, and it's, it hurts me every time. I raise these chickens, I spend time with them, and I spend time with them before the camera ever comes on too. And, just to love them and thank them. And that's the nature of sacrifice. It's not supposed to be easy. I think a sacrifice, you'll still release energy from the sacrifice in a ritual if you don't do those things. But I think that it's very, very distasteful and disrespectful not to honor that creature and treat them with love and respect beforehand. You can't just frivolously do it because that would piss the spirits off, in my opinion. If I was one of them watching something like that and someone mistreated that animal, then I would not be willing to help them as an entity. So why would I expect any different?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And that's why, last night I wanted to make sure that I did something to thank that rooster for giving its life. Because it really pushes the ritual to the next level. And animals need to be thanked and respected. And, if I can do that, I even asked Barbie, I was like, did he have a name? And she's like, no, we didn't have a chance to get a name. So, I thought that just being able to honor the sacrifice with the other spirits and yourself, it was enough. And it seemed like it was enough last night with the confirmation that I got.
That is amazing. That is so cool. And, this was such an honor to do for you. Like I said, I've followed your work for a long time. You're one of the people I've looked up to. And So it was such an honor and a pleasure to do this.
It was an honor for me to have it done. I mean, you know, when I was asking you what the results were when you posted about it, I wasn't even intending. I was, you know, my thought process was like, oh, I wonder what the results were. And I said, oh, well, let me ask, because somebody else is probably asking, and then they can see, and then, you know.
Yeah.
And when you offered it, I was like, wow. I was like, I knew it was a big deal to me. I was very touched and very honored. I was like, holy crap, I can't believe he's willing to just do it. You know, and so I really, really appreciate you. And I really just want to give a shout out to Barbie as well. After I did the dedication last night at my temple, I was like, man, I should have put a shot down for Barbie as well, because she's also part of this. She's also the backbone, you know, of your guys' operation. She needs to be thanked. And so I thank her very much and really appreciate the both of you. You guys do great work. And from what I've seen and the experiences that I had, I can absolutely vouch for you and say you are absolutely very powerful, and the work that you put forth is extremely powerful and honest and with great intention. And I would absolutely back any magical working that you've done with the results that I have seen.
Thank you so much. That means such a great deal. And yeah, my wife Barbie is awesome. I could not do any of this without her. She's definitely the backbone of my work, and yeah, I'm very grateful to her too. And as far as what you experience, like I said, everybody is a little bit different with the experiences that they have, and it's not just over and done. I mean, it goes on for a while, and so yeah, we definitely got to, whenever you feel like it, if it's 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now, a year from now. Well, I don't want to wait quite a year to out, but I definitely want to do a follow-up with you in the future, very near future, and just looking back, you know, it's after a few months, you know, it's easy to look back at yourself before the ritual and then look at yourself now and say, these are the things that have changed, and this is what occurred from this. So
Totally.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and thank you so much for being willing to come on here and talk about this and allow me to do this for you.
Of course.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for watching. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And yeah, the video of the ritual will be put out at the same time as this podcast. So you guys will be able to watch, you know, pre-interview, ritual, and post-interview back to back. So thank you everyone, and have a good night.